halfway through the NFL regular season, so let's hand out some mid-season report cards. Let's see how tough our graders are. Jeff, what grade are you giving the Kansas City Chiefs?
An A? How could you not? They just had a showdown with the Dolphins, AFC showdown. Travis Kelce has 14 yards. Mahomes throws for $185, and they still find a way to win. Top 5 defense. A. Be on alert. They can play their worst game and still beat the Dolphins. You gotta like it.
They are in advanced level courses and they are not performing advanced level work. We have higher expectations for this team. I've seen them at an A. That's not them at an A. That's all. I mean, they're 7-2. Good. Congratulations.
Listen, he went to Harvard Business School, so I mean, he knows what he's talking about.
This defense could carry the Chiefs to a
Let
Super Bowl championship. Yeah. That is why they get an A. The offense will figure it out. They still got Patrick Mahomes, but this might be the first year that the defense could be the reason they win it all.
Wins championships.
It does.
Defense.
You like that? Is that
anymore? That's an old saying.
Well, I'm just helping out.
I would leave them a little more room at the top.
Yeah,
I'd give them a
like
B plus because I think they can get better. I think that offense is not explosive right now, and I think it has a chance to be. And if it doesn't improve, then come playoff time, they might have a little tougher time.
So you're saying if Patrick brings his report card back and says, "Why do I have a B plus?" It's the teacher says, "It's because I know you're capable of more."
I
know you're capable.
Not applying yourself.
I know you're capable
May not
of
be
more.
fair, but that's how it is.
All right, let's get to the Steelers. Graziano, let's see how tough they handed out grades at Georgetown.
I mean,
what grade do we give the Steelers at the midway point?
I went with a C plus because I still don't think they're very good, but they're 5-3. So I don't know how to make that make sense. They've been outgained in every single game, which is bizarre. And I think, good for them for finding ways to win. But I think overall performance, what are you shaking your head at?
Your grading system is
shaking your
garbage.
head
You
at?
gave the Chiefs a B
This
plus
is a very
and the Steelers a C plus.
well-reasoned decision.
Listen.
What am I supposed to do?
I'm going to tell you something.
I don't think they're very good, but they're 5-3.
No,
So,
they deserve an A.
Why?
No, Mike Tomlin.
Because they stink and they're 5-3. They've been outgained in every game this season, and they've won 5 of them. You want to talk about maximizing your ability?
Look,
they've done everything they can with what they have. They might be the worst team in the NFL, and they're 5-3.
So Mahomes' comeback to that teacher is, you're giving that kid an A?
That's exactly right.
And I got a B plus?
Because that kid can't do
Come
anymore.
on.
Because Mike Tomlin is giving me everything he possibly could, and you, Patrick, are not.
That's how grading works.
Yes, it should be.
It should, yeah. I mean, I think I'm on Greeny's side. What they've accomplished, they just guessed all the way down the Scantron sheet and came up and said, we won 5 games.
Exactly
There you go. There's for everything.
They did the Christmas tree on the way down the grading sheet and found it.
They'd fail it.
What do you think?
No, I mean, to me, it's like for the Steelers, they have won games that we think that they shouldn't have.
Right.
At the end of the day, if Matt Canada can figure out that offense, then they're going to be better. So at 5-3 right now, at this point in the season, I would give them an A as well.
All right, yeah, the defense is good. Right now, the entire AFC North, shout out Kimberly Martin, would be in the playoffs if the season ended today. That
Best
was her
division in
bold
football.
prediction before the season began. All right, one more. Here we go, Dominique. What grade are you giving the New York Giants?
I give the Giants a D. I think a D is
giving them a D?
fair. I give them a D.
On what grounds?
They won 2 games.
Do they have a passing
and
grade?
F is really mean. Also, they traded away Leonard Williams. That was smart. Good job. Get a D for them. What?
You know how what your grading is? You're just trying to get the kid through the next year. That's what you did.
You're right.
Don't mail him because I got to see him again. That's what you're doing. I don't want to see him again. He ain't going to be in my class.
This is
I'm
how
going
they
to push
grade
him on.
football players.
That's how you do it. Make it somebody else's problem.
One at a time.
Education.
So what you're saying is Dominique just wants them eligible.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's it, right?
Just keep them
Just wants
going.
them eligible.
Just keep them going.
The coach came in to see the teacher, like, hey, come on, can we just?
You're right.
Are the New York Giants, if their season goes the way it now clearly appears it's going to, and they have a top 2 or 3 draft pick, are they going to take a quarterback? Have we seen the end of Daniel Jones in New York?
Fellas, I think it's not the popular thing to say, but you don't pay a quarterback $40 million and then go draft a quarterback in the first round the next year. I don't care how you feel about Daniel Jones. At the end of the day, towards ACL, they have to give him time to come back and make plays for them. And I didn't think they should have paid him $40 million. He got his money. If you're talking about organizational decisions that are going to help your team in the long run, you don't go draft a quarterback in the first round when you have so many holes on your offensive line and the rest of your team moving forward.
Here's the problem. They keep drafting offensive linemen in the first round, and they just get worse.
So you want to miss on the O-lineman and then go try to put another quarterback back behind that offensive line? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not arguing that they should draft a quarterback, but I think they will draft a quarterback. They gave him the money, but they gave him a running back's contract. They didn't give him a long-term contract. Right. They gave him a contract that they could get out from under very quickly. And if they're at the top of their draft, a draft that has quarterbacks that people think are franchise-changing quarterbacks, it'd be foolish to say, let's get an offensive lineman and ride it out with Daniel
So who was the
Jones
last quarterback that the Giants drafted in the first round or high as a pick that came to fruition there?
Eli Manning.
All right, now how many up and down seasons did Eli Manning have as a New York Giant?
2 Super Bowls.
2 Super Bowls. Right. How many up and down seasons?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Right?
Yeah,
he had a lot of them. So when you look at it from that standpoint, if this team is not ready to win, drafting a young guy like a Drake May or Michael Penix Jr. is not going to help.
Is what you're saying that if they have the second or third pick in the draft, you could get a king's ransom for that 100%. From someone. Now, the other question I have, in a world in which we come back from injuries a lot faster than we used to, see Rodgers, Aaron, is Daniel Jones even going to be ready to play at the start of next season? This is a torn ACL in mid-November.
Yeah, he will not be ready at the beginning of the season. I agree. I think you have to draft a quarterback. I think you have to look for, even if Daniel Jones is your quarterback at some point next year, you have to look at what your future is going to be for the New York Giants. You don't miss on those guys.
I actually agree with Robert. I think the smarter thing under normal circumstances is to trade the pick and get a king's ransom. However, I don't think that they'll do that. When there's a quarterback at the top of the draft, several that people think are franchise changers, you can't pass them up because everyone loses their job.
That's a different discussion, and I agree with you.
Don't compound your mistake by sticking to it. They got $36 million guaranteed for Daniel Jones next year. I think you got to eat that if you have a chance to get somebody better. Look, would he be ready to start the season? He's always been hurt. There are reasons to move on from Daniel Jones.
All right, Jeff, give me a winner from Week 9 of this NFL season.
Josh Dobbs.
Love him.
How about this? What a story. This, and by the way, it happened against my Falcons, was just devastating. But the way this kid played, like when you saw him warming up on the sideline, you were like, oh my, this guy got here Tuesday. Like, this is going to be trouble. Get stripped for or get sacked for a safety, but keeps battling, coming back. You cannot have a better story in football than Josh Dobbs.
I love him. Neek, give me a loser this week.
Sadly, on the other end of this equation is Bryce Young. He's been there all season, and he threw 2 pick-sixes to Kenny Moore. That's a problem. It's really bad when you see Josh Dobbs pop up and do that, and then Bryce Young is doing this. It's also really bad when you look across the league at the guy who was drafted after you, and C.J. Stroud. He's throwing for 475 touchdowns and leading game-winning drives. Got to be sad over there in Carolina right now.
RG3, give me a winner.
My winner is Lamar Jackson, and the reason I say that is over the past 2 weeks, he scored 1 touchdown, and the Ravens have scored 68 points. Earlier in the year, I said that the guys around him needed to step up because he was out there fighting for his fudging life. And guess what? They heard it, they stepped up, and when he starts to score touchdowns and this offense really starts clicking at a high level, oh my gosh, the Ravens are super scary.
Yeah, they're the best team in the NFL. Graz, give me another loser.
Arthur Smith, the Falcons head coach. Look, you're going to draft a running back with the 8th pick. You should probably use him. They get to first and goal at the 1-yard line. They run 4 plays, and Bijan Robinson's not even on the field. Now, I know Arthur Smith has pushed back on this, and he thinks it's silly because it's just fantasy related and people are complaining. The fact of the matter is you're 4-5, and you're not using your best players. I just don't understand what the plan is there in Atlanta. He shaved his mustache after the game, so maybe that'll change some things. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you have him on your fantasy team too. Which
it's irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter. He's on Arthur Smith's real team, and they have a worse record than my fantasy team has. So I don't understand.
That's fact.
I don't understand his point.
I can't decide.
He understands mine.
Are we more consumed with Arthur Smith's mustache or Robert Saleh's beard? But last night, boy, that was
beard.
That was something else.
The beard.
All right, as we continue, Contender or Pretender Super Bowl edition. RG3, they wrote this one for me. I can't believe I'm asking it.
Yeah.
Are the Jets a contender or a pretender?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a serious question, but yes, they are pretenders right now. Their defense is contenders. Their special teams at times has been a contender, but offensively, They have not figured it out. They don't know what to do with Zach Wilson or how to get their run game rolling. They can't protect him.
Yeah.
They can't run it.
Yeah.
So they are pretenders.
Yeah,
Pretending very well.
They are pretenders, if even that. Neek, let's go to the Dolphins. That's an interesting one. Contender or pretender?
I hesitate to say this, but I think they're pretenders.
Ooh.
If you're considering a contender as someone that can get to the Super Bowl at least, we have to imagine that they can beat 3 really good AFC opponents in a row. Their defense is getting better, and maybe they'll be contenders by the end of the year, but we have no evidence that they're legitimate AFC contenders at this point.
All right, and then Jeff talked a lot about the Cowboys this week. Are they a Super Bowl contender or pretender?
They're a contender. I mean, you look at this team, they had every opportunity to beat the Eagles. I know they didn't come through, but this is the team that everybody says is the best in the NFC, whether it's San Fran, Detroit, the Eagles. They're up in the top 3 or 4 in the NFC. You get hot at the right time, you have an absolute shot.